We're back on Inside Tennessee with District Attorney General Charme Allen, just elected to another 8-year term. General, it's always good to have you in, and we want to talk to you about some timely things happening in the legislature. One of those being an effort to make tighter laws when it comes to juveniles and violent crimes. Lawmakers are putting together packages that would allow you to charge a juvenile for a violent crime as an adult. Do you think that's a smart direction to move?
Well, we currently have the ability not to charge juveniles as an adult, but we currently have the ability to transfer them. And so on serious crimes, homicides certainly, and other serious crimes, we as district attorneys have the ability now to file a transfer petition. And we then have a hearing in juvenile court where we determine, the judge determines two things. The first thing he has to determine is that we have pretty much exhausted all opportunities to rehabilitate that juvenile, because juvenile law is really set up to rehabilitate. Adult law is really more punitive. And so in the first part of that hearing, the judge determines that we have exhausted those possibilities for this juvenile. And then the second part of that hearing is then we prove that this is the crime that this juvenile's committed and needs to be transferred. So we have that ability now to transfer juveniles to adult court, and we do that on serious crimes here. And here we are very fortunate in this community that our juvenile judge typically will grant those transfer requests for us on those juveniles now.
What do you make of how it's going down? House Speaker Cameron Sexton described a situation where gangs are using juveniles to commit crimes because they know the punishment won't be as great if somebody over 18 committed the same crime. Stealing a car, shooting someone, all these serious crimes. Is that happening, and do you think this will help solve that?
Yes, that is definitely happening. It happens here. Not only do gang members use younger gang members to commit crimes, they also use girlfriends quite often. Those are the two things that hardened older gang members with records will use. It will be their girlfriends who don't have records, and it will be young juveniles. So we certainly do see that here. We see instances where hardened gang members have young juveniles steal cars quite frequently, and then those juveniles will take those cars to a car lot, if you will, and leave the keys in them so the older gang members can come and take those cars and then commit crimes with them. So definitely here that's happening. Our younger folks are being used for that. I think that perhaps that if legislation targeted those gang members to where we could use that as an enhancement factor on the older gang members for doing that, that would certainly be something that would be positive and help us to get a lot more time on a lot more hardened gang members.
Let's talk about a bill that has been introduced into the legislature, and it looks to lower the age of people carrying guns from 21 down to 18 years old, putting guns in younger hands. What are your thoughts on that?
As a law enforcement official, I do not think that's a good idea. I am pro-gun, carry a gun myself, and I'm not against carrying guns. I'm against kids carrying guns. And 18-year-olds just typically do not have the mental capacity to have a gun, to be able to carry a gun. We have had a couple of reckless homicides here lately where it is young kids teenagers, not young, but older teenagers playing with guns, and those guns have accidentally gone off and they've killed their friends. That's happened twice recently. So that's what happens when you get guns in the hands of younger people, less than 21. From a law enforcement perspective, I think that's too young to allow our kids to walk around.
One of the things that we were talking about is the truancy program that you put into effect, and Robin talked to you about having hope in the last block, and this was a way you've tried to get hands-on early with kids and reward them for good behavior. Explain that and how effective you think it's been.
We have initiated a truancy program where we go into the schools. We work with Knox County schools. They tell us which schools have the worst truancy rates. We pick a school, we go in the first day of the year and say, for all the kids that show up to school every single day this year and do not miss a day, the district attorney's office will provide you a bicycle at the end of the school year. Epilepsy Foundation partners with us to provide the helmets, which we're very grateful for. And no no government money is used for that, no tax dollars. We raise that money on our own to provide those bikes. But in every school that we have done that, we really thought and hoped that the truancy rate would improve. But not only has the truancy rate improved, disciplinary problems have gone down and test scores have gone up. So it has been a very good program where kids are going to school, making better grades, not getting in trouble, and the schools love that when we come in, and it's just a way for us to start a relationship with these kids. And the reason for it is study after study shows that you are less likely to come into contact with the criminal justice system, either as a defendant or a victim, the further you go in school. So the longer we can keep these kids in school, the better chance we have of keeping them out of our system.
We're going to take another quick break on Inside Tennessee. Back with more of our questions. Robin, it's great to have you with us.
Good to be
District
here.
Attorney General here. We'll be back momentarily on this Sunday morning.